Robinson Crusoe. Chapter 11 Book. I need to make some furniture. I need a chair and a table. I use the wood from my rafts and the ship. It takes 5 days to make them. Then, I make more furniture for the cave. I put my clothes and guns in the cave too. I am very happy when my work is finished. The cave is comfortable now. Everything is well organized. I can easily find what I need. I decided to write a book about my life on the island. I describe my days in the book. I start with my first day on the island. I write everything what I remember. I also write what I think. It is good when I write my thoughts on paper. When I start, I write 1 page every day. But when I get to the present, I write only 1 page every week. I write only important things. After some time on the island, my life is well organized. But my life is never boring. I always have some work. Every morning, I walk around the island. Then I work. I have lunch at noon. Then I sleep, but not very long. Then I continue with my work. I relax or I write my book in the evening. I make my cave bigger and bigger. I want to have a big cave. The cave is my kitchen, living room and sometimes a bedroom. When the cave is finished, a lot of earth falls from one side. I am not in the cave when it happens. If a lot of earth falls on me, I can die. I clean the cave. Then I decide to put long boards on the sides and also on the top. I don't want to have this accident again. This work takes 1 week. In December, I continue with my work in my small camp. The weather isn't very good. It rains all days. But it is still warm. So I work inside. It is never cold on the island. It is good for me. At the end of December, I kill a goat. I also hurt another goat. Her leg is broken. The goat can't walk. I take the goat home. I help the goat. After 2 weeks, the goat is not scared. The goat eats from my hand. In January, I travel through the island. I find more goats in the center of the island. The animals are very shy. It is difficult to get close to them. I want to domesticate some goats. I only need a good opportunity for it. I have a plan. The next day, I return with my dog. I think that my dog can help me hunt. I tell my dog, sit down. Wait. Don't move. Chapter 12 Corn. When the goats are between me and my dog, I hide behind a tree. Then I shout at my dog, come here. My dog runs to me and the goats too. I wait in my position behind the tree. When one goat runs close to me, I jump and I catch her leg. I hold her right leg. But then the goat kicks me with her left leg. She kicks me in my nose. It is a horrible pain. I can't hold the goat and the goat runs away. We are not successful. This is not the best method how to catch a goat. We have to find a better method. I tell my dog, let's go home. I need to relax. I work on my fence from January to March. It takes me a long time because I want to make the fence very strong. During this time, I find big birds on the island. Their homes aren't in the trees. They live in holes which are between rocks. It is easy to catch them. Their meat is great. I can also cook and eat their eggs. When I work on my fence, I find a small bag. I remember corn in the bag. But now I see only some leaves in the bag. I take the bag outside my camp. I empty the bag because I need the bag for gunpowder. This happens before the rains. A month later, I find some green leaves in that place. It is young corn. I am so happy. The corn grows near my home. It is fantastic. I can bake bread in the future. Something happens in March. I am inside my cave when pieces of earth fall from the top of the cave. I am scared. My work on the cave can be lost. I run outside the cave. I see that the ground starts to shake. It is an earthquake. I am shocked and scared. Some big stones fall from the hill. But I am lucky. They don't hit my tent. The earthquake is finished soon. But I don't want to go inside the cave. I am scared. I sit on the ground before my tent. I think, maybe, it is dangerous to sleep in the cave. It is dangerous if another earthquake comes. But I don't want to sleep in the tent. So I decide to make a house. I start to build the house in April. It takes 3 months to build the house. But I am happy with my new home. I am ill in the last week of July and I have a temperature. I can't get out of the bed. I am very weak and I can do nothing in this state. I have crazy dreams. The dreams are not very logical. But for me they are real when I have them. Chapter 13 Dream. One of my dreams is really crazy. I am in a pub. The pub is on my island. I want to drink some rum. But the waitress is very lazy. She sits at the bar. She does nothing. I don't like lazy people. I am angry but I wait. Then my wife comes to the pub. She gives me paper with some text. It is a message from her father. He writes that I have to go home. He writes that I have to work on the plantations. But I don't want to go home. I go to the kitchen in the pub. My mother is in the kitchen. She prepares some steaks. She also cooks soup. I taste the soup. The soup tastes fantastic. Then 2 Englishmen come to the pub. They want to sell gunpowder. One man looks like a gentleman. But the second man is horrible. I tell the horrible man, I am sorry. I don't need your gunpowder. I have a lot of gunpowder in my camp. The horrible man says, you have to buy our gunpowder. We travel from London. We want to do the business. I say, thank you. I don't want your gunpowder. The horrible man is really angry. Our conversation is not good. He says some horrible things about me. I say some horrible things about him. The conversation gets to a point when he wants to kill me. He takes his gun. I start to run away. He shoots at me. Then I wake up. 1 week later, I feel better. But I still need to relax. I need to sleep a lot. In August, I am okay again. But I still feel a little weak. I need to do some physical activity. The next 10 days, I walk around the island. I feel better after these trips. When I feel strong again, I decide to explore the whole island. I find a new interesting part of the island. It is a valley. It is a valley with a lake. The valley is in the central part of the island. I find melons here. The melons look like big balls. They are very sweet. I also find apples, oranges and lemons in this valley. I want to take some fruit home. But I need a big bag. I don't have a big bag with me. I collect some fruit. I put the fruit in one place. I return to my cave. I bring a big bag for the fruit. I like the fruit valley very much. The nature is beautiful here. I think, maybe, I can move here. But the beach is far from this place. I have to be close to the beach. I need to see a ship which can save me. Chapter 14 House. I don't move to the fruit valley. But I decide to build a house here. I visit the valley very often. Step by step, I build a house here. The house is small. I make a double fence around the house. The house is protected like a castle. Again, I use a ladder when I want to go inside. And inside, I have stairs in one corner of the fence. I use the stairs when I go outside. And I use the ladder when I go inside. This activity takes the whole August and the beginning of September. But I enjoy it a lot. The fruit valley gives me so much energy. I feel so healthy and strong here. Sometimes, when I am in the valley at night, I watch the moon and the stars. I think about my wife. I think about my family in England. I know that they see the same moon. They see the same stars. But we can't be together. I think about my family very often. I wish the best for them. I also think about all the people who see the moon. I think about the places where they live. I feel connected with them. Sometimes, I feel connected with the whole universe. I also think about God. I have questions for God. I ask him, why am I on this island? Why am I still alive when my friends are all dead? I don't have answers to these questions. But I believe God. I believe that he knows what he is doing. It is the time when the rainy season starts. The rainy season continues until the middle of October. This is my first year on the island. When the rains end, I return to my valley house. I see that the fence is all green. New leaves are growing everywhere. This isn't only beautiful. It is also useful because it is really hard to see the house. The leaves create shadow. It is very nice to stay here. I want to make a fence from the same wood around my first house too. When the rainy season is finished, I put my corn in the ground. I have a bad feeling that something bad can happen. I only use a half of the corn. This is a good idea because no corn grows up. I put the second half of the corn in the ground before the next rainy season. This time, the corn grows up. Now, I have a small farm on the island. I see that the seasons on the island are different from England. The seasons are not spring, summer, autumn and winter. We have 2 rainy and 2 dry seasons. With this information, I can now plan when to put corn in the ground. Chapter 15 Basket. I make longer and longer trips around the island. I need a basket for these trips. With the basket I can carry more food during my trips. I can also carry more fruit from the fruit valley. I cut branches from the tree which I use for my fences. I use the branches for the basket. When I finish the basket, I decide to make a long trip around the island. I go through the fruit valley. After the valley, I find some fields. A lot of grass is on the fields. The fields are very flat. There are a lot of flowers on the fields. The flowers smell so good. Many insects fly around these flowers. I see some big butterflies. Their wings are 10 centimeters wide. I also see small trees around these fields. I find nuts on these trees. These nuts are different from nuts in England. They have a different shape. They are also more sweet than nuts in England. I discover some new animals on this side of the island. Wild cats live here. I also see many parrots and other interesting birds. I catch one parrot. I take the parrot with me. His body has many colors. I see red, green, orange, blue, pink and yellow. This part of the island is very nice. More food is here. But I don't want to move here. My dog catches a young goat on the way back. I save the goat. I take the goat with me. I want to keep goats. Now I have another chance. I leave the goat in my valley house. I want to prepare some space for the goat in my first home. I am so tired from the trip. I relax the whole day. I make a cage for the parrot. I bring home the goat. The goat starts to be calm. I make a map of the whole island. I put these new places on the map. The time goes very fast. Soon, it is September again. This is my second year on the island. I am less sad now. I accept my situation. I have many good things in my life. My days are similar. I hunt in the morning. I cook at noon. I relax in the afternoon when the sun is very strong. And I work in the evening. This is my typical day. I also teach my parrot how to say his name. His name is Pole. I have a problem with my corn in November and December. The wild goats want to eat the little plants. I don't want to lose my corn. So I quickly make a fence around the field with the corn. I make a gate in the fence. I put my dog inside the fence. He protects my corn at night. Soon, the plants are tall, but another danger comes. Birds start to eat the seeds. I shoot at the birds. They fly away. I must watch my field every day. Chapter 16 Bread. I have my first corn at the end of December. It isn't a lot of corn. I don't want to eat the corn. I decide to keep all the seeds. My goal is to put the seeds in the ground and have more corn later. I need some pots for the seeds. I look for clay on the island. I find some clay and I try to make a pot. I have no success at the beginning. But I try again and again. It is long work. But after 2 months of experiments, I make 2 pots. I put the pots in baskets. I put dry grass between the baskets and the pots. The dry grass and the baskets protect the pots very well. I continue to make small pots. Their quality is better and better. I also make long but not very high pots. I put seawater in them. When the water is gone, I have salt. One day, I find a broken piece of a pot in the fire. The fire makes the piece very hard. It is like a stone. The piece is very red too. I have an idea. I take one pot and I make a fire around the pot. The pot is very hard after 2 hours. I am happy with the result. I also need a tool with which I can make flour. I take a big piece of hard wood. I make a hole in the wood. I put the seeds in the hole. Then I take another piece of hard wood. I break the seeds in the hole with this second wood. The flour stays on the bottom of the hole. Now, I want to bake bread. I have an idea. I mix the flour with water. Then, I take 2 stones. I put the stones near the fire. When the stones are very hot, I put the bread between them. Now, I have my first bread on the island. The bread is not perfect. But I like the bread a lot. It is my first bread after a long time. It is during my 3rd year on the island. I think about traveling around the island by sea. I think that it is possible to make a canoe. I want to make a canoe from a big tree. I find one big tree. I cut the tree. I start to make a hole in it. But after some days, I start to think about something. I start to think how to get the canoe from the forest to the beach. I think about it because I am quite far from the beach. I see that it is a problem. I see a small hill between the forest and the beach. It is not possible to move the canoe over the hill. The canoe is very heavy for it. I am really angry. I have to leave the canoe in the forest. Many days of work are lost. I don't believe that I can make such a mistake. I have to plan my work better next time. Chapter 17 Canoe. After 3 years on the island, my clothes are already very old. I start to use the skins of the animals. I make a cap and other clothes from the skins. I also need an umbrella. I try to make an umbrella from the skins too. It is difficult at the beginning. It takes some time. But I am successful in the end. After 3 years, I am quite happy. I have everything what I need for my life. My life on the island continues for the next 5 years. During this time, I decide to make another canoe. The canoe is smaller. It isn't difficult to move it to the beach. The canoe is finished in June. I want to travel around the island in the canoe. I put food, water and guns in the canoe. I am ready for the trip. The beginning of my trip isn't easy for me. I am in danger when my journey starts. I have to go around some rocks in the sea. When I want to go back to the land, I feel a strong current under the canoe. The current is taking me away from the island. The situation is horrible. I am scared. I can't survive in the open sea. I don't have enough food and water for a long journey. I fight very hard against the current for 2 hours. Then, I am able to get close to my island. I can continue my trip around the island. Now, I know that I am stronger than the currents around the island. I feel good. I feel strong. Soon, I find a small river. I go up the river. But I get nowhere because soon the river is very narrow. Stones block the way. I can't continue. I leave the canoe where it is. I want to explore this part of the island. I am not far from the part of the island which I know. Soon, I find the way to my house in the valley. I am very tired from the trip. Soon, I sleep. Then, I hear a voice. I wake up. The voice is saying my name, Robinson. Where are you? Robinson, where are you? First, I am scared. But then I see my parrot pole. He sits on top of the fence. He knows these words from me. And he is saying these words with the same intonation as me. I am surprised when I see him here. I think, why isn't he at home? But I am happy when I see him. I don't go back to the canoe. I return home with the parrot. I don't make such a trip for a year. I stay in my house most of the time. I make more tools and pots. I can also make very nice baskets now.